came in actually pretty early, but I just stayed on phone calls and finished my phone calls, and then I texted you at 10 o'clock, and then I came in at 10:30.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know what you were up to. So, hi everybody. This is my dad, Prashant Gupta. He is a tech guru, poet, storyteller from Lucknow, India. And I'm going to be interviewing him today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to ask about Lucknow. So, what was it like growing up there?
That's a pretty open-ended question. I mean, Lucknow is a fantastic place, right? It's a place with a lot of history, a lot of um, culture around the arts, around music, around food, around various things. And in fact, history goes a long, long way for Lucknow. Lucknow is known for, the word is nazakat, which translates to um, uh, politeness in a way, and also to somebody or something which is very tender or sensitive. So it is very sensitive and very polite. So they are so polite that there is a saying about Lucknow that people are so polite that if they go to a train station and they are entering a train, the door of a compartment, they are so polite they keep asking the other person to go first. And the story is like that there were two people from Lucknow who were waiting at the train, and they were so polite to each other, they kept asking each other. One person kept telling the other person, "You go ahead first. You go ahead first." And in the process, the train left, but they were still left standing in the station. That was so polite. So I grew up in that town. And adopted some of the same mannerisms and culture and all those components from there. And so that's the background of Lucknow a little bit. Growing up there was a very rich experience in a way. It's from an Indian cultural system. It's a pretty diverse culture. There's a large Muslim population in Lucknow, and they bring those elements, their cultural elements, into the equation. The language that we speak is actually a combination of Hindi and Urdu and Sanskrit all mixed together.
Yeah, I know when you run into people who also speak that like dialect of Hindi Urdu, you get so excited. We like once met we were getting my graduation outfit, and we went to this new Pakistani uh, store in Artesia, and they were speaking like some similar Hindi Urdu kind of combination,
Right.
and you got so excited. You had to talk to them. You like kept talking to them in Hindi Urdu throughout the entire thing, and you were really excited to hear where they were from and what they were doing. And like I think they were also excited to meet someone who spoke the similar uh, language.
Dialect.
So,
Yeah. So that's also similar in Pakistan. They use more Urdu words than Hindi words, and we use more Hindi words than Urdu words, but the Urdu is sort of mixed into it. So that was an interesting experience by itself. Even though I grew up in Lucknow, it was slightly different than growing up from in Delhi or Mumbai or any of those places.
So you said that Lucknow was like a big cultural center for the arts, and I am kind of wondering because you and I have this connection over storytelling.
Hmm.
I like learned to tell stories at your feet. I'm watching as you like
Right.
charmed people and wowed parties with your amazing stories of your life. Tell me about how that like ties into Lucknow and where you came from.
It's interesting. I think that growing up in Lucknow, everybody becomes a storyteller in a way. I guess the Nawab, so the rulers of Lucknow. Lucknow was the capital of a state called Awadh. During the English times and during the Mughal period, and the rulers were known for their love for music, the arts, foods and so on, right? So it permeates everywhere. The chaat is one of the famous things that was, that's from Lucknow. And in fact, they say that once you've had the chaat in Lucknow, you will never like chaat anywhere else, which is not quite true. But the chaat in Lucknow is very special. So with respect to the storytelling, with respect to the communication, I think partly the people from Lucknow are expressive, and they are expressive because you have to be expressive when you are living in that kind of environment. Everybody is expressive, so it comes that way. I also was influenced by my mother, who was a professor of Hindi literature in the university, and she uh, created, or she used to tell us a lot of stories, and the way she used to tell us those stories, so I incorporated some of her techniques or mannerisms involuntarily. I mean, it wasn't like I knew that this was a technique, but I adopted some of those things in the way I tell the stories.
Mm-hmm. You once told me in Lucknow, everyone tells stories, and if they don't have a story to tell, they make one up.
They'll make one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do.
My friend Tanya, her father is also from Lucknow, and she told me that he's a very similar affect to you. That he tells stories and he like charms people with his like charismatic storytelling and stuff. So I've been really interested to hear about from other people who have like family from Lucknow and
Yeah.
connect to them through that.
Are you going to tell me about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I so my recipe is pretty simple. I put basically green cardamom. I don't really count them. I just do it what feels right in my heart. But I put green cardamom, like a bunch of it. I put 10 cloves. I put the corner of like the star of the star anise, like one of the stars prongs.
Okay, yeah.
And then I say a tablespoon, but it's probably a generous tablespoon of ginger. I have my like frozen ginger in the fridge, so I don't have to cut it every time.
It is fresh ginger.
But yeah, but
it's not ginger powder or anything.
No. It's cut ginger. There's this India Mart near me that has the biggest gingers that you can find anywhere, and I always go there and I always get like 3 and then cut them all up at the same time, so I don't have to like keep cutting them up over the weeks. But yeah, so I did this and I was boiling water, so I'm gonna go put this in the water.
Okay.
And kind of for me, I think like it's a simple recipe, but like what matters to me is the time you spend cooking it. So instead of doing like a short amount of time boiling the spices, I spend like maybe 10 minutes just boiling the spices. And then I have like I put the black tea in. I use like Assam tea, like tea India, Assam tea. And I use about a tablespoon of that. I put the black tea in, I wait for a minute, then I put the sugar in. I put about 3 tablespoons of sugar, but I manage it for what my person, like the person with me, likes, like what sugar level they like. And then I wait another minute, and then I put the milk in, and then I wait and I wait and I wait for it to froth and like boil over, but not all, because my pot's great because it has like a lip that doesn't get hot, doesn't get as hot, so it never boils all the way over.
Okay.
But I wait for it to boil up and then go down, and then maybe like a minute or 2 more, and then I pour it.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't actually aerate my tea, so maybe I'm a bad tea maker.
What do you mean aerate your tea?
You know, like it might just be for show. I don't know, but like a lot of tea makers, like they aerate it by like pouring it like from this pot to this pot, and
that's more for show.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, that's more for show
Because
than anything else.
I know, like
it doesn't do anything for flavor.
Fair enough. I've watched a lot of chai makers on YouTube, like, and they'll be like, I aerate my tea.
I don't think it does anything to the flavor.
You don't think so? Not like
No.
wine where aerating it. Does
No,
aerating do
no,
anything to wine?
this is, I don't think it makes any difference. I think it creates more bubbles. That's about it.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. I don't think it does anything else.
Yeah, I just don't want to lose any of the tea, and I am a clumsy person, so I'm
How
gonna
did you
lose
get
it.
into tea making?
Chai was always like a sentimental thing.
Hmm.
I think my best memories of chai. Do you remember? We would like go to India to visit Dadi, and we would be jet lagged, so we would wake up at like 5 in the morning. I would wake up at like 5 in the morning, maybe earlier,
Hmm.
and I would go out to the kitchen table, and you'd already be there, or sometimes I'd be there and you'd join me, and then we would just share a cup of chai,
Hmm.
um, and like we wouldn't say anything, but like the sun would be kind of rising, and it would be all blue, but the sun would be like rising, and this golden light would fill the room. Um, and I just look back on that very fondly, even though we didn't say anything to each other. I think it was like a pivotal moment, and so I think I really like take those moments like of community sharing over chai, like at Sita Auntie and Piyush Uncle's place when they would like Sita Auntie would make me chai. Anisha sometimes would make chai for me, and I just like remember like those were the best moments of community, was like sharing it over chai. And so when I came to LA, I was really, really, really lonely. Like and like it's really hard to build community in LA
Hmm.
because we're all so spread out and like siloed
Yeah.
into our own parts of LA. And so I was finding it really hard to build community, hard to find people to like hang out with. Um, and I got like I over video call, one of our family members showed me like how to make chai.
Hmm.
Um, and this was like I was in San Diego for the weekend, and I was using someone else's ingredients, but I managed to make chai, and I just like started doing that for myself,
Hmm.
and then realizing like, wait, I can do this for other people, and I prefer doing it for other people,
Hmm.
honestly. And so I started inviting people over for chai, and I found we would have great conversations. And once they tried my chai, because it was so good, they had to come back.
Of course.
So basically, I just started making chai for people in my community, and slowly I started like building like groups of people who like all wanted to hang out and talk shop, talk art, talk whatever,
Hmm.
over chai.
Oh, now, do you? I can smell the spices
Yeah,
that are boiling, and it's really a pleasant smell for
yeah.
me.
I wish.
It's good memories from the chai was being made at home when I was in Lucknow, so I can smell that the condiments, especially the cardamom
um,
smell, which is very nice.
I wish that the like smell translated into video, so we could have our viewers smell the aromas.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's really
um,
nice.
I remember growing up though, you would always drink like Lipton,
Hmm.
and you would like put the tea bag in cold water in a mug and put it in the microwave
Yeah,
and put it in for like 2 minutes. You had an exact amount of time you like to put it
right,
in for,
right.
and then you'd forget about it for like a day, and then I would go to microwave something, and your Lipton tea would be in the
It's just
microwave,
sitting
and
there.
you'd be like, "Wait, I'll have it now," and you'd heat it back up and then
And then
drink it.
forget it again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I would take it out and give it to you, and then
Okay,
you would drink
okay,
it.
yeah, yeah. I'm guilty of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was not the fancy
Oh no,
chai. That was like very basic.
very basic
Lipton,
tea.
make it quickly in the microwave tea. It's
Yeah.
not the same as this chai.
I also remember the instant chai packs.
Hmm.
I feel like we would hoard them every time we went to India.
Right.
I remember going to my Tauji's place in Udaipur, Gopal, um, and he would have those instant packs out,
Right.
and we would like take them and put them in our bags.
Right.
Sorry, Gopal Tauji, but we would take them and put them in our bags and like take them back and then drink them because we were so like wanted that chai.
Yeah.
They were never as good as like homemade, though.
Yeah.
But they were still good. They were still good, but not as good as homemade.
Yeah. So going back to Lucknow, there's one other thing I remembered, which is, the people who live in Lucknow or are brought up there, they sort of fall in love with Lucknow and then they miss it when they are out of Lucknow. And case in point is that there is a famous Nawab of Lucknow. His name was Wazid Ali Shah.
Mhm.
So he was taken out, or he went from Lucknow for some period of time. I don't remember the exact reason for that, but he was also a poet. He was a very famous poet. I didn't know that he was a very famous poet at that time, and he actually has written two lines. I don't remember those lines, which basically he expresses his longing for Lucknow and about going back. And it's that kind of a place,
Mhm.
right, where you have imbibed so much from the place that you miss those things outside.
I mean, I miss it, and
Yeah.
I never lived there.
Yeah.
Like we'd visit, but I always want to go back.
I mean, and one simple example is that the people's politeness, right? Once you go outside of Lucknow, people are not so polite. They are pretty rude. And, it's not that they are deliberately being rude, but that's what they have grown up with. Whereas the word is, I think I told you, the word is nazakat. Even when you speak with a certain politeness in the every sentence and every grammatically as well as phonetically, how you say it.
Yeah. So, your family, your mother, my dadi, is from Lucknow.
Yeah.
Does she like hail from Lucknow? Does her family?
She grew up in Lucknow.
Okay.
Yeah. Her father was the principal of a school
Mm-hmm.
in Lucknow, and she and her sister and brother all grew up in Lucknow.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And then, your father's family is from Bikaner.
Yes.
So where in Bikaner? What were they doing? What was their life like?
Bikaner, my granddad used to work in the railways, but I think he was a station master or something like that.
Well, my grandfather, your father,
Yeah.
was like. Tell me exactly what his position.
Yeah, so went up through the what I call the Indian Railway Administrative Services, and those are basically the executive management. That's how they recruit executive management, and he came up through those examinations, and then he became the head of finance. They call it FAN, CAO, financial advisor and chief accounting officer, and then he finally retired as the additional general manager for Northern Railway, which is the one of the largest railways in India. And he was transferred a lot. Being in the railways, I mean, that's par for course. That you get transferred to different cities. He, I think, had to go through like 15, 20 transfers. I don't remember exactly. And so the bright side of that was we got to live and stay in different cities in India.
So Lucknow, how much of your childhood did you spend in Lucknow?
I was there. I was born in Lucknow, and I was there all through my what we call intermediate. You call high school here, which is the 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So all the way till I was 18, I was in Lucknow, and then I visited.
Mm-hmm.
During the holidays when I was in college, I went to Pilani, but I used to go back to either Delhi, where my dad was posted, or to Lucknow.
Okay.
But Lucknow, the ties were maintained because after my parents retired, your grandparents, they moved, they built a house in Lucknow. They liked Lucknow so much. They built a house there and lived there. So every time we'd go back, we'd go to Lucknow.
Is that the house that I visited?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And that house is still there, and it's in the family still.
It's right next to the pickle shop.
It's right next to a lot of shops.
Yeah, I know. But the ones I remember are the pickle shop.
Yeah.
And they don't have just like one or two types of pickle. Like America has like a few types of pickle.
Right.
But they have like 84 different types of pickle.
Yeah.
And it's like
You can
ginger
taste
pickle,
them.
garlic pickle,
Yeah,
mango pickle,
yeah,
onion pickle, bitter melon pickle, like
yeah.
anything you
Anything
can
that you can think
make
of.
into a pickle,
Yeah.
they make into a pickle.
Everything vegetarian.
Yeah, everything vegetarian, of
Vegetarian.
course.
You
And
can
then
make pickle with meat too, but that shop doesn't do
I
that.
don't think I've ever had that.
Yeah,
But yeah, they I remember we visited one time and we took my friend there and we were like tasting everything. And I was like tasting this one thing, this other thing, this other thing. She like tried a couple things and then immediately had to rush home to use the bathroom.
yeah, because it's strong. Some of
It's
those pickles are
yeah,
very strong.
yeah, but I love them.
It's
I
not just how they define pickle here. It's they're pickled over time. It's not like you put it in vinegar and in a week it's ready. My grandmother used to put them in these containers. They were made out of some kind of clay. They were tall containers and they were opaque. So when you make the pickle, start the pickle, you put all the cut up the vegetables, you put all the spices, mix all the vegetables, and you leave the cover off and let the sunlight fall on it for a few days. Once it gets to a certain point, then you close that and store it in a dark place, a dark, dry place for 6 months to 1 year, maybe even 2 years for sometimes the pickle to truly marinate and be ready.
I know the longer you keep it, the better it
The
is.
better it gets, yeah, the better it gets. And my grandmother used to make the pickles herself. I mean, we buy the pickles from the store, but she used to make all pickles were made at home.
Wow.
Yeah, all pickles were made at home.
No, that's
in large
amazing.
quantities. Yeah.
That's amazing. So what type of pickles did she make?
She made mango pickle. She made lemon pickle. She made garlic pickle. She made chili pickle, red chili pickle. So they take it out, they cut up the thing. These are large chilies, and then they stuff it with spices, and then they marinate it and put all this stuff. And those are some that I remember. One time she made a pickle from lotus root, which was very
Oh,
unusual.
I love lotus root.
Lotus root pickle, I had never had it. So those are what I remember somewhat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love lotus root.
Yeah.
But
Ginger pickle also she used to make.
yeah, I know Sita auntie makes pickles sometimes.
Yeah.
Does your grandmother, did she have any recipes or did she just do it by heart?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, but I'm sure she had recipes because she directed people to do that, whatever
Yeah.
needed to be done, but she was the one who was the chef in terms of creating those things.
Yeah.
And the quantities and the measurements and all that, right?
Yeah.
So she used to do it.
I would love if we could find recipes.
I don't know.
I don't know if we will.
have to ask Mama.
Yeah, we should ask
If
Mama.
anybody will know, Neeraj Mama would know the recipes.
Yeah.
Because he was into it too. He'd always help.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just like my brother and I and my parents, we were just consumers of the good stuff.
You just got to reap the benefits.
We reap the benefits. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
No, I would love to get that recipe. I would love to start making pickles myself here, so we don't have to go to Lucknow every time we want to get. I mean, those pickles are great.
Those pickles are great, actually.
Yeah.
Some of those pickles are as good as what my grandmother used to make.
Yeah, but it would be nice if if something like the incident that happened with my pickle where someone threw them away or took them, I don't know what happened, but if that happens again, then I would be able to make another batch instead of waiting until we go to India to get more pickle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love pickle. The other shop I remember, they did kachori.
Yeah. Onion kachori. Sharma's sweet shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their onion kachori was
unbelievable.
To die for.
I've never had anything like that anywhere else.
Yeah,
Lucknow chaat is the best.
Yeah. I concur. I've been to chaat all over the world.
Yeah.
Chaat
is the best. Yeah, it is the best.
Yeah.
The other thing in Lucknow, at least maybe that was all over India, but growing up, we didn't have prepackaged food or dishes or anything, right? Everything was cooked from scratch.
Yeah.
Every day. We used to have 4 meals. There was a breakfast, there was lunch, there was a evening or / afternoon tea, and then there was dinner. Everything was made from scratch every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you're used to, that fresh food quality.
Yeah.
So when you come here, it was a little bit of a different experience.
Yeah. I am not a fan of like how much frozen and processed foods I eat. I
Yeah,
mean, I do it out of a
it
necessity,
is a
but
convenience thing more than anything.
yeah, but I want to get better at cooking from scratch and cooking for myself
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. And
Um,
they for some reason they had mastered the art of cooking Indian food, that it didn't take them that long
yeah,
to
yeah.
cook it.
I recently watched this video on YouTube from this Indian chef. He worked for Google,
Hmm,
and he was talking about all the camping equipment he takes for when he goes on the road,
right.
so that he can make Indian food on the road.
Oh wow.
Um, and he was talking this specific pot, this specific pan, this specific, and he
Right.
had like he was like, it all fits into a box in my car, and
Hmm.
that's what matters. And I was like, dang, I don't think I'm gonna ever get to the level where I'm cooking Indian food while camping,
Yeah.
but that is impressive, and I want to know someone who does.
Yeah, Indian food is actually not that hard to cook once you understand the basic ingredients. I mean, the
Yeah.
basic ingredients are very similar across all the dishes. The proportions change.
Am I hearing that we're gonna have some cooking lessons this
Oh, sure. I'm
weekend?
happy to give you cooking lessons. I'll teach you the fast ones and the slow ones. Yeah. So the wonderful invention is this pressure cooker. So
Okay,
that
yeah.
that accelerates a lot of Indian cooking, but it doesn't taste the same as if it was
No.
cooked from
I
scratch.
mean, I would love to know the slow ways too. Like, just I kind of want to keep the recipes alive, you know?
So one very good recipe that in fact, I don't know if it was my grandmother or my mama who used to make it, but I remember seeing it one time. It's called uh, lesun or mirchi ki chutney, but basically it's red chilies and garlic uh, chutney,
Mhm,
right? So the way they make it is, well, first they take the dried red chili
mhm,
and then they boil it for a long time,
mhm.
so that all the bitterness, the intensity kind of comes out, but the flavor is still in there,
Yeah.
right? And then they basically take that and then they combine it with garlic, onion, um, spices, and just grind it together.
Mhm.
And then they make tomatoes, a little bit of tomato, and make a paste,
Yeah.
right? And they, in the mixer or however they used to do it, they call it silbatta. It's like the a stone thing, which like your tea making thing, which allows you to grind wet things,
Mhm.
right? And then they put ghee in a pan and cook it for like 40 minutes, and that would create this really flavorful chutney, really
Okay.
flavorful chutney. Yeah.
I would love to try it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to make it. I just saw it being
Well,
made.
you need to ask Mama,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Somebody, Mama used to make his own tomato chutney. Oh, he
Oh.
used to make tomato chutney. He had to have his tomato chutney every meal that he had, or every other meal. And his
Um,
chutney, it was very funny because he's the one who would slave himself, and he'd slave over the stove and make this chutney. And then when the chutney came to the table, everybody would grab a little piece of chutney, and he'd be left with only a little bit. And he used to get angry at all me and my brother. You guys, they eat all my chutney. Why didn't you tell me you wanted it? I would have made more.
Poor Mama.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's funny. It's like me with my Matar Paneer.
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't make it myself, but I
Yeah.
always wanted the Matar Paneer at the
But you
table.
like the Matar Paneer made in a specific way.
Yeah.
See, most of the places, the Matar Paneer, they deep fry the paneer
Mhm,
or the cheese,
mhm.
but you don't. You like it soft, so it's very lightly fried, very
Uh-huh.
lightly pan fried. Yeah, and then
Okay.
it flavor is different than what you will get in the restaurants or anywhere else, because there they make it very rich with cream and
Yeah.
butter and all that, whereas the one you like is not the one that's as rich and
That's
heavy.
surprising to me because I love cream and
No,
butter.
I'm sure you like it, but this one you really
Yeah,
took a
Shaji
liking
too.
to.
And other Shaji, she makes really good Matar Paneer too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
She's a
remember.
great cook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a great cook. I got her recipe for Matar Paneer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
written down somewhere. I gotta make it.
Yeah,
So maybe we can make it together.
sure.
I find like food and chai and like tea time, like you said you had tea time. Um like I find those all like great ways of building community.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the way we kind of built like our relationship, like I don't know, it's not exactly like not everything is centered around this, but I know that like I have fond memories of you and food together. Like I remember you used to make these parantas, and
Aloo paratha.
yeah, aloo paranta, and we would go on these ski trips
Hmm.
with a family, uh, a family friend, and I was the same age as their kid, and me and this kid Andrew, we would steal the aloo parantas out of your pockets on the slopes. So
Yeah.
you didn't get to eat them,
Yeah.
and we would eat your aloo parantas, and you'd be really hangry and grumpy.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but then I figured it out. I would always make, like, normally I take two for myself for lunch because they're really heavy. They're,
yeah,
thick ones. And but then when you guys started stealing it, I started making 4 or 5 so that I could give to, I'd be left with something to eat,
yeah.
because the first time I got nothing.
Hide a couple in your inner
Yeah,
pocket.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I also remember, like you and I, we've had arguments in the past. We
Hmm.
used to have really blowout arguments, and I remember like in the summer when we'd have arguments, like a few hours after, I would go to the kitchen and you'd be cutting mango, and you'd be like, "How's some mango?" And I think that was your way of being like,
And the
let's
olive branch.
let's give an olive branch. Yeah, have your mango. A lot of like South Asian and a lot of Asian people in general relate to this concept of like cutting fruit as like an olive branch or like a community thing,
Outreach.
an outreach.
And
Yeah,
outreach.
yeah.
But we used to. I don't remember what the arguments were about. I do remember a few of them were a little.
I think you were just worried about me.
That's what I thought it was. When you have your own child, right? The child is growing up. You don't want the child to be making the same mistakes you made.
Yeah,
So you overprotect
yeah,
against those. And in the long term, you realize sometimes it's better to just let the person make the mistakes, because that's the best thing that they will learn themselves.
yeah.
Are you
You
still
wanna
boiling?
you wanna come look?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, look, it's frothing right now. I love this froth.
This is a special tea pot. You know what they call this in Hindi?
What?
Bhagona.
Bagona?
Chai ka bhagona.
Chai
It's
ka
a
bagona.
bhagona is this vessel for tea, or
Okay.
this pot for tea.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amazing. Yeah, I just love it. Looks so delicious when
yeah.
it's like this.
So I think maybe there is a mechanism here. If somebody can figure it out, you serve the tea like this, and then you make those hearts like they make in coffee, in latte or something like that.
You want latte art from me now?
No. That art is art, right? So I saw in one of the events I was at that they had a laser type of thing or something, some device where you could they create any pattern you wanted. They create a pattern, and then the cup would be sitting there, and then they do something, and that pattern would translate on top of the coffee, the latte.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I've always admired people who can do latte art. I cannot do that. It's a simple chai, but it tastes
No, but
good.
the chai is
Tastes
never.
better
I've
than
never seen, because it is not frothy. It doesn't have
oh
bubbles when
yeah.
it's served.
And like chai at the coffee shop is never ever gonna match up
Oh,
to
no, not
what we
even
can make.
close.
Yeah.
Not even
Like
close.
like I feel that like Western culture has kind of taken chai. Because do you know the origins of it?
The origin of chai is from China.
No. Well, sort of. The origins of chai, like masala chai,
The masala chai is probably
is
from India or UK or somewhere. I don't know.
yeah. So can I tell you?
Yeah.
A long time ago, when the British Empire was still doing what the British Empire did in colonizing,
Hmm.
China was like, we are not going to give you tea anymore.
Hmm.
We're not going to trade tea for you anymore.
Hmm.
And so the British, loving their tea, were like, fine, we'll make it ourselves.
Mm.
And they basically like raised like Assam
Mm.
to make like tea plantations and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they made like so much tea there. And it kind of like tea crops kind of like made it harder for people to like get food and other resources and stuff like that. But basically, the British would take all the good tea,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would leave all the shitty tea
Mm-hmm.
for the South Asians, which is just classic British behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would leave all the crappy tea for the South Asians.
Mm-hmm.
And the South Asians were like, well, this is crappy tea. We don't like this tea. So what we're going to do is we're going to put spices in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to spice it. We're going to make it our own. We're going to make masala chai.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did that. And that is like one of the like pinnacle acts of like resistance in like food culture in South Asia.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And of course, the British were like, well, now you're doing this nice thing with it. And so we want it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take that recipe, make it 1,000 times worse, spread it out, commodify it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And now that's why we have like Starbucks chai.
Yeah.
And
but that's not the same though.
It's not even close to masala chai. It's not but it's like the same way they like commodify South Asian culture, like yoga and like the
appropriate the culture,
appropriate and commodify. So it's just another commodification, appropriation of our culture.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think that that food is much harder to replicate.
Yeah.
Right. Like for example, we were talking about chaat.
Yeah.
That Lucknow chaat you can't replicate.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a funny story about it. So there was, the colony that we lived in Lucknow. They had these 2-story houses, or they were like, I would say they were like buildings with. There was an apartment on the top and an apartment at the bottom, and they were like about 6 or 8 of them connected. And so there was a road that went around the colony where there were houses on both sides, and it was a circular road. And the sellers of vegetables or chaat or whatever it is, or the barber, whatever, they basically walk around that circle selling their wares. So they go from neighborhood to neighborhood, they go around, they come twice a day, like the vegetable guy they'd have a big cart. And the cart is like, this is a big cart, they call it thela. This needed like 3 people to move it, right? And then there were the smaller ones. The Chaiwallahs would come in this 4-wheel type of thing with bicycle type tires, and they'd push their cart and they'd sell chaat. But they had a big pan. The Chaiwallahs had a big pan on which they'd cook, and they had a tiny stove. And some of those stoves, they were so creative in terms of what there would be, is that they would basically put lime and water, which creates carbide gas, and then they'd light that carbide gas to heat up the pan, right, and keep the pan hot. And the lime they could go and get from free or cheap from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I remember the story about this Chaiwallah. They'd come every day, and I and my brother, we loved chaat, and especially we loved these golgappas. And we call them, they call them pani puris, or they call them puchka in different parts. Different parts, right? And we used to say pani ka batasha.
Yeah.
That's what we used to say. And this guy, to attract attention, to know that the Chaiwallah is here, so they had this big metal pan, which was a solid cast iron / steel pan, which was big. It was like about 3 feet in diameter, right?
Mm-hmm.
3.5 feet in diameter. And then they had a metal spoon / spatula, for all metal, heavy. They used to turn it over, and they used to bang that spatula on the pan to tell people that, okay, the Chaiwallah is here.
Oh yeah, like the ice cream truck.
Yeah, like the ice cream truck, right? And then the Chaiwallah would come, and my grandmother would say, the Chaiwallah knew that I and my brother loved that chaat, and we'd eat, we had our way, we'd eat every day, right? So we'd go down and eat like pani batasha or aloo tikki or matar or golgappa, whatever it is, every other day, if not every day, as much as we could, right? And then my grandmother used to complain that Chaiwallah knew that, and he'd just stand in front of the house and just keep banging that for 5 minutes, right? So either we'd show up or not show up. That was the funny story about it.
That's funny.
But that chart was so good. I think we remember we had gone to, so there's different things in chart, right? There's different places in Lucknow, like in Aminabad, in Hazratganj, in Gol, go to that place. Go. I don't remember now. What was it? Something Bagh, it was called. And each place had like, this place made the best pani puri, this place made the best dahi bhalla, this place made, whatever the best kachori. And you basically would go to different places to eat different things. And if you remember, we had gone to Hazratganj and we had that fritter made out of spinach leaves. Do you remember? It was just fabulous. It was so good. But these are hard to make, right? So that's why it's not that easy to appropriate, hard to make, and even hard to perfect. You started the recording?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So, cheers.
Yes, cheers. Oh, the tea is good.
Yeah.
It is really good. It is quite good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So we were talking about basically how it's really hard to replicate like food. And you said you give the example of Lucknow chaat, but I have this really interesting thing where everywhere I go and have South Asian food, like it tastes like that place's South Asian food.
Okay.
Like I went to a wedding once where we were in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And in Jersey, they have a large South Asian population.
Yeah.
So the South Asian food was really, really good.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was really good. And then we recently went to a wedding in Mexico, in Cancun, and the South Asian food tasted like it was made by chefs used to making Mexican food.
That's probably the reason.
Yeah. And it was really interesting. It was super good.
Yeah.
But it was just a really like unique flavor palette. I was like, I didn't expect that. And it's like we have family weddings all over the world and happening all the time. And I just like, I'm really intrigued by this if we go to Korea and there's a Indian wedding, then it's gonna be like Korean Indian food. And then if we go,
you mean a Korean aspect to it?
Yeah, it's gonna have like a Korean aspect to it. Like the chefs are like going to make it in the flavor profile of what they like have grown up with in Korea. So I think, and it's going to be different for like Seoul versus like Busan and stuff like that.
Is that because there people are starting to do a lot of fusions also, right? Fusion food. So, like for example, the Mexican do a mole, which is with Indian spices, right? So in a lot of weddings now, having that mole, the paneer mole or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah,
it's becoming common, right?
Yeah, I had that was really good.
It was at Anshul's wedding.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So maybe that's, I had the same experience but it was at a different Indian wedding in Mexico, and the food tasted like it was made by, Mexican chefs.
Yeah. And I think that's just really interesting. I think, so Trevor Noah once said that accents are because someone is trying to speak, like an accent in English is because someone is trying to speak English with the rules of their language. And that's why you have an accent, and that's why, well, I have an accent, but it's like an English like dialect accent,
right?
Yeah, it's like why like sometimes you will like say a T with like the ata and like stuff like that, or like why you don't like differentiate between vine and wine.
Right.
I think it's like the same with food. Is like
Right.
food um is like a language. If they're making Indian food in different countries, they're making it with the rules of their food culture,
Yeah.
you know? And I just find that so fascinating.
It's interesting you bring up the V and the W
Yeah.
thing, right? For when I look at Hindi, those are not two different letters. It's
Mhm.
just one letter that is the letter I'm used to. That I use I'll just say it my way is wine and wine,
Yeah.
right? But I shouldn't be saying it wine and wine. I should be saying wine and wine. Or maybe I can't even get it right even then. But that's the reason for it, right?
Yeah. No, it's super interesting. I think it's really fascinating.
And some things you're just taught wrong. I mean, just to give you an example, the English that I was taught in India, there is a word called mishap,
Mhm.
but my English teacher didn't teach us that. He taught us mishap because it's like bishop is bishop, so BISHOP. He said MISHAP should be mishap. And so when I came here to the US and I was using the word mishap, they didn't understand it, and then they finally figured out it's mishap that you were talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have had like words that because I was an avid reader when I was a kid. You and mom had to like bribe me to stop reading.
Right.
Um,
First, we had to bribe you to start reading. Actually, we didn't have to bribe you. We just made sure that anytime you wanted a book, that you could afford it.
yeah. Well,
We would buy it.
the reason and I'm really appreciative of
Right.
that.
Right.
The reason I started reading was because my second grade teacher was mean, and he would make fun of me for not being able to read.
Is that right?
And he would make fun of me for not being able to write. And I think they brought in the special needs teacher,
I don't remember
um,
that.
or she was experienced with special needs.
Hmm.
I don't remember her name was, but I'm grateful to her because she just talked to me, found
Hmm.
out I was really interested in horses,
Hmm.
found me a book about horses, and like within a day I knew how to read.
And then they knew how to write.
Yeah. And the next time I had an assignment to write a paragraph in that class, I wrote a paragraph. And then that teacher said, "Look, everybody, Kaith wrote a paragraph. Everyone clap for them," and held up my paper without my permission.
Hmm.
And it was super sarcastic and super embarrassing.
Oh, this is your second grade teacher did that?
Yeah, yeah. But I started reading after that, like avidly, because I wanted to see Harry Potter 4 with my aunt Debbie when she came to visit
Visit.
us,
Hmm.
and she said you aren't going to watch that movie until you read all 4 books.
Hmm.
There were 6 at the time, but she was like, you have to read up to book 4.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm gonna read I'm going to read up to 4, but I got so into it that I read all 6 books in 6 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you did read a lot of books.
Yeah.
You still have a lot of books left over.
Yeah, I do. My mom keeps telling me to pack some up and figure out what I want and what can be donated.
Right.
But yeah, I would read books avidly, and like I was really into the Golden Compass, and I remember the second book is The Subtle Knife, but I had never heard it spoken aloud.
Hmm.
I had only read it, and when you only read words, you read them the way that you think they're going to be read.
Right.
And so I remember you were asking me what book I was reading at one point, and we were with your like work friends,
Hmm.
and I was like, The Subtle Knife,
You said that?
and you just looked at me and you were like, it's subtle.
I don't remember
I
that.
was like so embarrassed. It's not embarrassing, but I was so embarrassed.
I mean, this is a normal human mistake. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. How's the chai?
The chai is great. It woke me up.
Good, good. Yum.
It's got
I
all the ingredients of all the flavors. I can smell and taste the cardamom. I can taste the ginger. I taste the sweetness. It just reminds me of home.
Mhm.
Mm.
and that's what I'm trying to do. make memories, remind people of their childhood, their home.
Yeah.
I want to bring this to a close, so I just
Okay.
want to thank you so much for coming on, being my first ever guest on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you, and we should do this more often, like outside of the show.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute honor to be the first person and the first guest. Hopefully, you'll invite more famous people than me on your show, and wish you all the best and hope you have all the success.